How many questions might I see on Reg D? Well, I don't know, but Reg D is very testable. It's testable on a lot of exempts. So let me just talk about Reg D here. 938. Reg D. All right, so 33 says that if you want to sell brand new securities to the public, you have to make a registration statement, hence the term registered securities. Now, there are under 33, certain exempt transactions. Exempt transactions are also known as safe harbors. Those safe harbors are Reg A, Rule 147, and Reg D. So the SEC says, Dean, were you selling brand new securities to the public without making a registration statement? I say I was selling brand new securities. I was selling unregistered securities, but I was not selling them to the public. I was selling them to accredited investors or sophisticated investors. So Reg D is an exempt transaction under 33, and it's also a federally covered security, meaning that I'm not going to have to register Reg D with either the SEC or under the Uniform Securities Act. I'm not going to have to qualify it. I'm not going to have to, coordinate. So that's how it relates to, your 66. And then follow-up question is, what is an accredited investor? Very testable. Accredited investor is someone who has $1 million of net worth. So I say, hey, Trish, I want to send you an invitation to participate. This is an investment by invitation only. I can only send the invite, the private placement memorandum, to accredited investors. Do you have $1 million net worth exclusive of your primary residence? She says, no. I say, well, hold on. Do you make 200 grand for the last 2 years with the expectation 200 grand this year? She says, no. So hold on. I want to invite you. I'm trying my hardest to send you an invite. I said, you make 300 grand for the last 2 years with the expectation of 300 grand this year. Listen, if you make $1 million and you lose your money, who cares? I'm joking, but it's about protecting retail investors. And if you make 200 or 300, so what? Work another year. Either you have the ability to make a decision or can hire somebody to act on your behalf. So nobody really cares about you. Now, a good way to remember that is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. $1 million, 200, 300. Now, also, Trish, you are a Series 7 in good standing. You two are accredited. Don't think you'll see that on the exam. Or a 65 in good standing is accredited. Now, there's two versions of a Reg D. There's a 506B, and this is testable again. I think you could see this on both the SIE, the Series 7, and 65 and 66. With 506B, I can have up to 35 sophisticated but not accredited investors. I can have an unlimited number of accredited investors and an unlimited number of institutional investors. And the distinction, besides I can have the 35, is I can't solicit, I can't advertise. Now, if I kick the 35 to the curb, I say to the SEC, in this Reg D, I'm not going to have any non-accredited investors. That would be 506C. And 506C, I can have no non-accredited investors. I could have accredited and institutional, but I can advertise. So that's kind of cool. So I can solicit or advertise. So that's the distinction between the 506B, 35, sophisticated, not accredited, can't solicit. 506C, no individuals. We mean living, breathing human beings, individuals, natural persons. So no non-accredited investors. Now, another trick is to make sure you understand that that's all accreditation means, period, full stop. That you can accept an invitation to a Reg D private placement. It means nothing other than that. So don't confuse that with like the Uniform Securities Act and whether I'm going to be protected by my state administrator. If I'm an accredited investor, I'm still a retail investor as it applies to protections under the Uniform Securities Act. So I would also know Reg A, Tier 1 is up to 20 million. That's, again, another safe harbor. And here I can solicit retail investors. Tier 2, I can go up to 75 million, but then I can't allow you to invest more than 10% of your net worth into the deal. And I have to have audited financial statements. Rule 147 is kind of a funky one on the 66, 65, and 7. It's more funky as it relates to testable content on 65, 66, but let's go through that one real quick. 80% test. For me to use this one, the issuer has to have 80% of their business and assets within the state, the issuer. I can only sell it to residents of that state. After 6 months, they could sell it to someone else. And this one, I don't have to register under 33, but I do have to qualify. I do have to register on the Uniform Securities Act to what's called qualification. So to answer your original question, Trish, not sure how many questions you will receive. I would think 1 or 2, maybe 3. And then remember, you're buying unregistered securities. So the always unregistered, there's going to be some holding period. I'd have a general understanding of how we turn unregistered securities into registered security. Different topic, but along the same lines. But, we just don't know which of those you're going to receive. So I guess you got to know them all, I guess. Huh? So look, if you're on LinkedIn, let me know. It looks like I'm having problems on broadcasting to LinkedIn. So let me get rid of that. How do I get rid of it? If I disappear, you'll know that I'm playing around here. Remove this destination. Okay, hopefully I'm still here.